you know, I'm not going to lie. I applaud all the women that have already been on the stage. I have a podcast on iTunes. I speak to people all the time. I do lectures everywhere, and it never gets easier. You still have the sweaty palms. I'm nervous, so if you see me shake, that's why. It just doesn't get easier, especially when you're trying to deliver and help people on their journey. You want to offer your best. So hopefully, I can help you leave here today with some hacks that will help you take charge of your brain. So why did I choose to speak about the brain? Charlotte asked me, what would you like to speak about? And I said, the brain. Why do I want to speak about the brain? Because so many people care about their body. Don't you care about your body? You care about what your butt looks like. You care about your tummy. I care about getting my hair done. But people don't care enough about their brain. Now, I love my brain, and I know you love your brain, but do you care about it enough to pay attention to it? Our brain is spectacular. Our brain is more amazing than the best supercomputer in the world. So I'm hoping to bring attention to that. And I wanted to start off with a quote from William Shakespeare. And Shakespeare recognized this years ago, so we should really pay attention to it. The brain is the soul's fragile dwelling place. The brain is important for everything we do. Did you know that Alzheimer's is currently on the rise? Alzheimer's was recognized as an epidemic by the WHO in 2013, an epidemic of all things, and people still aren't giving it the attention that it needs. In Canada, now not in Ireland, but in Canada, there's currently 500,000 people suffering with Alzheimer's. So I know I'm getting a bit serious and everyone's being so fun, but I'm a teacher, so hopefully I can make this as fun as possible. 72% of that 500,000 people are women. Isn't that incredible? Now I put that down to we stress eat, we've got kids, we clean the house, all this environmental stuff is affecting our brains. But now we're seeing that the expected rate is to double in the next 20 years. Not only does that affect people in my age group and your age group, it affects our kids, our grandkids. So now is the time that we really need to start paying more attention to our brain and not just our tummies and our weight and everything else. Our brains are so, so important. Your brain, every time you have a thought, your brain causes a chemical reaction. Now, I work with many women and I see this. So depending on what their thought might be, if it's a positive thought, they feel good, they go after their goals, whether it's weight loss or building a business or whatever it may be. But if that thought is negative, that will then release a negative chemical into the body, which then causes them to feel sick. They might get depressed, they might turn to sugar for help, they might turn to alcohol, they might get cranky with their husband. We see this whole spiral happens when we're not more aware of our brain and how intricate it is and how it affects us, even just a single thought. So your brain is the most complicated system in the universe. Your brain has 1 billion nerve cells. That is as many stars as there are in the Milky Way. Each nerve cell has 40,000 neuroconnections. Now, I know that's a lot, but when we look at that, that's more stars than there is in the universe. And that's just inside your head. Yet we care more about whether or not we can lose weight or anything, and we're not taking care of our minds. And I always stress when I'm talking to my clients, think about what you want to be like in 20 years. Okay, you might want to be slim. You might still want to be strong. You might want to be able to walk without a walker. But you want to be able to remember your past. You want to be able to remember your family's names. Maybe something simple. Where did you park your car? We want to remember all this. And just taking care of your brain in the simplest ways is what I'm going to teach you in the next couple of minutes, is hopefully going to help you at least remember where you put your car keys, for a start, or your PIN number. Hands up who can remember their husband's phone number. I can't remember my husband's phone number. My phone remembers my husband's phone number for me, so I don't need to do it. Now, I'm trying to improve on that, but it's the little things like that that we don't pay attention to, that we should be paying attention to, because it's going to spiral. Unfortunately, my grandmother has dementia, and it's upsetting. She can remember me, and I'm living in Canada 4 years now. But when I go home, she will ask me, are you still living in the same house? And how's your boyfriend doing now I'm married a couple of years? And when are you going to have kids? I have 2 kids. My oldest is 13. And she doesn't remember, and it's heartbreaking, but she remembers me, and she remembers little bits, and I look at her, and my heart breaks for her because she had gone too far before I was experienced enough to help her. But I don't want to be like that. I don't want my children to have to look at me that way with that feeling. You can see it in their eyes. They feel sorry for you. There's pity. I don't want anyone to look at me like that, and I don't want anyone to look at you like that. That's why I'm here, to deliver something that's probably not as lighthearted as all the other conversations. But we will go on. So I have my top hacks that I usually address for people when I work with them in brain health. And the first then being your thoughts. If you can understand that everything you think about creates a chemical reaction within your body. So if you have a positive thought, it's going to release some serotonin, some endorphins. You're going to feel amazing. Let's just say you're on a weight loss journey. So you have a great thought. Someone tells you look amazing. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in ages. You look great. You get those endorphins, that serotonin. It pumps you up. You feel good for the day. You're more likely to stay on track with your goals for your weight loss and be continuous with that. But if you haven't seen someone in a while and they maybe ask you, are you pregnant? And you're not pregnant. What does that do? That makes you feel pretty rubbish, and you're going to go home and you're going to eat away your sorrows. And then you see what happens there. It just gets worse and worse. And the same goes for business. I mean, I've run a business and it's not been easy. Some days is hit and miss. When it's bad and someone may criticize what you're doing, you're not good enough, or why can't you do this for me? And that just makes us feel bad, and that releases those sad, feeling down. I want to hide away from the world's hormones, but when someone messages me and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it, this happened, and thank you so much for helping me, then that pumps me up, and you know what, that helps me build my business. So you see how those thoughts can then spiral into chemicals, which can propel us forward towards our goals, no matter what they were. They don't have to be health and fitness. You could be becoming an artist, you could be just, I don't know, raising kids. That's a challenge in itself. And just having those positive thoughts to even just take a breath. I love my kids, I love my kids, I love my kids. And that just makes us a little bit of a better parent, doesn't it? So remembering that your thoughts are what create us. Your thoughts are you. Your brain is you. And that maybe we should start showing it a little bit more love. Like, if we could get our brain done, I'm sure we would get our brain done like we get our hair done, but showing it a little bit more love. So apart from our thoughts, how else can we take care of our brain, okay? So I'm going to run through a few things with you. Nutrition. You obviously hear about nutrition all the time. Nutrition makes us strong. It gives us a nice physique. It builds our muscles. It helps with our menstrual cycle, everything. But your nutrition obviously helps with your brain. So we have this barrier in our brain, and it's the blood-brain barrier. And some molecules can pass it and some can't. And this barrier is like kind of bouncers, like bouncers on a nightclub. And they're like, hey, you're not coming in here because you're no good. So you're going to stay within the body. And the rest lets good stuff up into the brain, and that can travel down your central nervous system, which is down your spine, and just everything to keep you moving, walking, thinking, doing. So the nutrition that you take in is going to be very important. So if you walked by my table, you will see I put together some very handy leaflets. There's 10 points on them, and these are just my favorite, very simple, very affordable foods that you can start to integrate into your diet immediately. The top one being coffee. And already I got people walking by the table, oh my God, I can have coffee? Yes, you can have coffee. Coffee is some of the best food in the world for your brain. Coffee is jam-packed with polyphenols that will help protect your brain cells from oxidation. When you pair coffee with green tea, you've got a powerhouse for brain health right there, because the caffeine in the coffee and the green tea has L-theanine, and that helps prevent against oxidative stress. That also helps protect against glutamate. So I know you've all probably heard of MSG, monosodium glutamate, and how rubbish it is for our body. We do need some glutamate, but when we have excessive glutamate, it's going to cause brain cell degeneration, and it's actually going to kill your brain cells off. So once they die, we can build new ones, but it's a little bit harder. We'd rather prevent them from dying. So if we can just have a cup of coffee and a cup of green tea in the morning, I'm happy with that. So just make sure you're getting some good organic green tea. That's all I'll say. But as well, then dark chocolate. The darker, the rawer, the better, of course. So you've got them flavonoids and all your nutrients. Did you know that if you were stranded on a desert island for a couple of months, you could survive off dark chocolate and not be nutrient deficient? Yes, so, and still be smart at the same time. So then there's dark chocolate. Water, of course, is important. Our bodies are made of 75 to 80% water, so that's important to stay hydrated. Fat, you gotta eat your fats. You've gotta eat fat, and everybody and their grandmother is talking about fat nowadays. They are. And I'm in the health industry. I hear everyone saying fat is amazing. It is amazing. The right fats are even more amazing. But your brain is made up of 60% fat. If you were to touch your brain, it would feel like fatty tofu. That's what it would feel like. So you need to give in those fats, which can cross the brain barrier to keep your brain nice and mushy and moist. So you're looking at your good fats. An essential fish oil. Make sure it's from good quality, of course. Macadamia nuts. If you walk by my table, you would have seen I was snacking on macadamia. Making sure that if you are to eat seafood, so I'm here to give you quality tips. If you're going after seafood, you want to get the wildest, freshest fish that you can get. And sardines are pretty good. Anchovies, I know a lot of you probably don't like them, but we're talking about keeping your brain strong so that you can remember your kids' names in the future. So grab a list on your way out if you want. Just stick them on your fridge, and they're very easy to integrate. So moving on, I want to talk about sleep then. Sleep. I love talking about sleep. When you sleep, your brain shrinks by 60% when you sleep. So I'm well known for my little analogies to help people understand things. So I like to say it like this. When you go asleep, your brain cells shrink. So they create like little alleyways. And these little guys in road sweepers, they come in and they just sweep in between the cells and they just get rid of all that rubbish that you might have accumulated through the day. Like toxins, stress hormones, they just get released out. And it's very important that you are sleeping to get optimal sleep to get that detoxification done. Because you don't want toxins to build up like plaque in your brain, and then you can't function, so the next day you might have brain fog, you might be a bit cranky with a few people, you will definitely have cravings if you don't sleep well. So getting sleep is very important, because I know some of you may have heard of the lymphatic system, so that's your detoxification system. And that, not to get too sciencey, runs from your feet up to your neck. It doesn't go into your brain, but we have another system in our brain called the lymphatic system. And if we can support that to detoxify ourselves, then our brain function is going to be more optimal. So remember, we're looking at maintaining brain health so that in the future, we can maybe slow down these statistics that are growing of women getting brain damage, Alzheimer's, dementia, even tumors in their brain. We want to slow all this down. Those stats don't have to be cemented. We can do something about it now, and it can be something so simple as, hey, hubby, your turn to put the kids to bed tonight because I need an extra hour sleep. Or you can get up with them in the morning. Or we're going to skip The Walking Dead tonight so we can go to bed. Whatever it may be, so that we can make those statistics hopefully be minimal in 20 years rather than exacerbated. So making sure that you get enough sleep, and of course sleep, if you get enough sleep, it will help you, of course, get to your goals a lot better. But the next one then is movement. So movement is so important. So I am a biohacker, and part of biohacking is helping people become optimal. We help people become superhuman through science, some sort of technology. We use nature, supplements, whatever we deem fit, whatever we can do to get you closer to superhuman, we'll do. That's what biohacking is. So we have all these different ways of doing it. And one of them is through movement. So helping people even just walk, getting them into that meditative state. So you all know how beneficial meditation is, but we can't always fit in meditation and then another hour for walking. So let's just combine the both of them. Let's just walk, take some deep breaths, and get our meditation on at that stage. So that's why my little guy there is lifting some weights. So when we lift weights, then we create this chemical reaction again, which just calms the central nervous system, and it helps the body go into that. You've heard of an anabolic state. Maybe those of you weightlifters have heard of an anabolic state. So the anabolic state happens when we go asleep at night, but it doesn't just happen on your muscles and your bones and everything. It happens on your brain cells, so we rebuild new brain cells. So if you're putting your body under load or exercising or under pressure, not only are you going to rebuild stronger muscles and ligaments, you're going to rebuild stronger blood cells. So, and exercise is awesome for that detoxification pathway as well. Another way we would look at biohacking to help with detoxification would not only be exercise, would be sauna. You can hit the sauna up, and the sauna is incredible for detoxification. Spending it 30 minutes or so in the sauna is awesome for just opening up those vessels and getting all the toxins out. I'm not going to lie to you, my favorite reason for using the sauna is its anti-aging properties. It is amazing for keeping us young. So hit up the sauna, and you'll be doing well. So this little guy is my own guy. If you guys want to come up with a name for him, you can. I don't know what to call him. But while still on detoxification, so he covers all aspects of the brain. So keeping your brain healthy, obviously his little sweatband, we've got the nutrition, we've got the weights, we've got these sweat molecules coming out of him. And just to stress even more on how important it is to make sure you're detoxifying, taking in nutrition that's going to bind to any toxins is going to be very beneficial for you. So you may have heard of mercury in fish, how bad that is for you, how it causes brain damage, it kills off brain cells. 2 hours exposure to toxins in your brain can kill off a nice percentage of brain cells, so you don't want that. So an easy way to fix that is through chelation. Now you don't want to go through chelation therapy, that's where you get pumped with an IV or everything. You can take in some chlorella or spirulina, some sea algae, some activated charcoal. There's very simple ways to do this. So I suppose before I finish, I want to just lay out a day. I know this has gotten a bit sciencey, but I want to lay out what would your day look like. So you're going to get up, and your main focus is, I'm going to win my day. I'm going to conquer my day, and I'm going to take care of whatever your goals are, but paying attention to my brain health so I can keep winning every other day 20 years down the line. So you're going to start off with your positive thoughts. We know that gratitude journaling is very beneficial for getting those positive thoughts and feel-good hormones going. So we'll do that. Then we look at our nutrition. So let's say just you have my leaflet on your fridge, and you're like, I'm going to hit up some coffee, some green tea, some blueberries, maybe some avocado. Eggs, sounds good. We've got some vitamin E in there, some choline. We're doing good. Then next, we're going to go for a walk, maybe get some meditation in, some exercise. We're keeping those feel-good hormones going all day. We're winning our day. We're maybe going to hit up the sauna later. And then, you know what? We might have some red wine and chocolate in the evening. That's all brain beneficial. That's all brain beneficial. So 20 years down the line, you've still got an amazing brain, and you've had your wine and chocolate to go with it. So I suppose the important message I want to drive home today is, don't just worry about your physical appearance. Worry about what's in here, because it's in here that's going to last you a lifetime. The body will start to degrade, but you can maintain your brain, and more importantly, you can maintain your thoughts and your memories and that love and specialness that you have built throughout your life that maintains in your brain. You can hold on to that, but you can start now by doing it. So show your brain just as much love as you would show your butt. Okay. So, thank you.